So I give you Mariah Kirby.
Thank you so much. So my name is Mariah Kirby. I am from the University of Missouri, St. Louis. And first I just want to say thank you so much, Dr. Marino, for having the Scholar Advocacy block again. I think it's so important, and I am truly grateful to be part of it for the second time in a row. So my presentation this year will be mainly focusing on Lolita. And this is a picture I took of her when I got to see her last summer at Miami Seaquarium. And it was, I reacted differently than I had expected. I hadn't seen an orca in captivity since I was about 7 or 8 years old, when I wanted to be a trainer at SeaWorld so bad. That was like my lifelong dream before I saw the documentary. So I am a direct product of the Blackfish effect. But she is, as many of you know, in the smallest tank in the country, and I did vlog my entire experience and did make a YouTube video about it. If you search "a day at Miami Seaquarium," it should pop right up, and I have a screenshot of that as well. But I was, when I saw her, I wasn't sad or anything like that. I was really mad. I was just really mad because it is, thank you, it is way worse in person than you see in any pictures or videos, and it was the very first time in a long time that I'd seen that, and I was not happy that day. So I'm not going to go super in depth into the YouTube video because that's not really my main point, but I do just want to point out a few main things that I saw that day. So first, there's the sun, and it says, this is at Miami Seaquarium, and it says, Flipper says, never feed or touch wild dolphins. It is harmful and illegal. So,
swim with them instead, right?
So, don't touch them in the wild, but we're gonna, go catch them and make them work and live in concrete boxes for the rest of their lives. But, we're taking care of them, just you don't do it because it's harmful. And I do also want to point out some of the comments that's in the speech during Lolita's show, if this works correctly. Okay, so the video didn't work, but that's okay. I can kind of recite it. So they start off her show, which they've kind of shifted in focusing on conservation of wild whales, and they say, you should feel so incredibly lucky that you get to see killer whale up close and get to watch them do their natural behaviors, because it's so incredibly rare in the wild and they're not commonly found. And then a couple minutes later, they go on and say, here's where all the killer whales in the wild are regularly found and regularly seen, and where you can regularly see them. So it was very contradictory, and I was just blown away that no one caught that in the crowd, and except for me, because I was looking out for that kind of stuff. But it really blew my mind that they were that blatantly contradictory in their own kind of spiel. So I do also want to point out the conditions of some of the dolphins that I got really nice pictures of. These are 3 dolphins in their Flipper show, and as you can see, none of them have any teeth at all. They're supposed to have those big, sharp, pointy teeth. None of them have any of the teeth, and here is a closer shot. There's not even, that's worse than Tilcom's picture was in the last presentation, because there is no fragment of any bone. It's just holes where they were drilled out, or whatever happened to them. I believe this was one of their older dolphins as well. So again, for more in-depth information, I go into manatees and things like that. It is on YouTube as well. So another thing I want to talk about today is the Until Lolita is Home rallies that happened last month. There was about 20 rallies all around the world in a whole bunch of different countries, which is really cool to see. That was basically to just bring awareness to Lolita specifically. And that's a screenshot of what the YouTube video looks like. WTF. Why don't they have any teeth? So I was so happy to host Missouri's very first anti-captivity rally at the St. Louis Arch last month. and about 25 people-ish came to actually help and hold up signs, and 20 of those people were my closest friends and family, but it did bring a good crowd. It was about 170 degrees that day in St. Louis, and there was baseball games and stuff going on, so something that I thought of was to give out free bottles of water and to people walking around outside, and the motto I came up with is, free water to free Lolita, and they could only take a bottle of water if they took a big information packet with it and read it. So that was kind of like the trade-off, and that got a lot of information out, and it got a lot of people's attention because people in the Midwest don't really talk about this kind of stuff, and they're not really concerned with it. So it was a really good turnout, and I hope that I'm able to do it again next year. And here's some pictures. That is where we were at the St. Louis Arch. Ooh, hello. And this is this is my boyfriend Chris, who's here today, who gladly held up the Free Lolita sign to show his support. So the last thing I do want to talk about today is something that I created. So I am in biology education. I'm a double major between both, and I will be teaching biology at the high school level shortly in a year or two. And I currently work as a substitute teacher in a couple of different school districts. And I was in elementary school one day, and I was helping a student pack up for the day, and I saw a book in his backpack about whales and dolphins, and I was so excited because, as I said, in the Midwest, it's not a very common topic, and I was like, oh yes, we're teaching the kids about whales and dolphins. That's so awesome. And I went to go look through the book, and this is what was in it. It was called Out and About at the Aquarium, and I believe it was either a book that had Shedd Aquarium or Georgia Aquarium, as one of the main contributors, I believe. But all it showed was whales and dolphins in tanks in captivity. Here's a great one of dolphin-assisted therapy. And I was just so shocked. This actually wasn't from that book. This was in a book I found in Texas a while ago. And it's another children's book, basically the same exact thing. They show this dolphin apparently got lost and needed help and needed to be put in a tank to survive. So they show him being caught in a net and drug off and everything. So I thought to myself, I cannot believe we are teaching this to our kids. I mean, this was a book in an elementary school library, and this is what we were teaching them about these animals. And so I thought we really need something to counteract that, to teach them what really goes on, how these animals should really live. So I wrote my own children's book. It is called Blackfish from Planet to Park. See what I did there? And it is all of real life photos that I took of Lolita, that I've taken of whales right off of Lime Kiln Park right here. And I self-published it on Amazon. It's available as a Kindle ebook and a paperback book. The main goal is to get this into elementary schools, and it is completely based off of the documentary. It follows the same storyline and everything, except it is from a child's point of view. And the main subject is that a child comes home from school, learns about whales in captivity, and wants to go there, and her mom's like, no, we're not gonna go there because I actually used to be a trainer there, and then that's how I get into what happens to whales in captivity. And then she gets her class to not go, and they actually end up here to see the wild whales. So, thank you. So, this next school year will already be in 5 elementary schools. We're in the school district that I went to in Missouri, and it will possibly be in the Whale Museum as well, depending on how much they like it. So I also got to read it to a summer camp that I got to volunteer at this summer. And oh my God, I'm like, look, there's me on the back. And I really wanted to, these were really my first beta testers on how children at the elementary school age would react to my book. So I asked them, before I read them my book, I told them what it was about. I asked them, would you go see whales and dolphins at a park? And this was one of the kids who I let them know the day before that I was gonna read them a book about whales and dolphins, and he was like, oh my gosh, I have a whale shirt. I'm gonna read it. Wear it, I mean. And so he was really excited. So I asked them, would you go see a whale and dolphin in a park? And a lot of them raised their hands. A lot of them were also shaking their head yes. Some of them were camera shy, and as you know, one girl didn't want to be in the photo at all, but that's okay. So I got to read them my book, and then I asked them the same exact question after I read them my entire book, and none of them wanted to go see them in captivity. So as it says on the back, a portion of all proceeds that are received through Amazon. I also have about 30 copies with me this week. If anyone would like one today, just come find me or tweet me or whatever. They'll be sold out of my backpack. So a portion of all proceeds will be donated to places like Whale Sanctuary, Orca Network, different organizations like that. And I believe that's it. Oh, this is what it looks like on Amazon as well if you have a Kindle. I believe if you have Amazon Prime, it's totally free on Kindle. And then that's where I believe it pops up right above John Hargrove's book. That was not on purpose. I have no control. But if you just type in Blackfish, the children's book or something of that sort, it should pop up right there. And that's it. Thank you very much.